Hi, Nicole here with Real Food Real Simple, and today I'd like to show you how to make lacto-fermented pickled okra. It's one of my family's favorite pickles that I make, and it's also the easiest one, so you're going to love this. Okay, so to start, let's talk about what we're going to use for our fermented pickles. Obviously, we're going to need okra. This is very fresh okra. You don't want to use okra that's too old because you really want to preserve it at the peak of its nutrition and freshness. Now, most of the time when I do fermenting, I actually use airlock jars with bubblers, but I have found that because of how fibrous okra is, it actually handles fermenting in regular mason jars just fine. So this is a great one if you don't have airlocks yet to go ahead and start. Now, a couple of things. These jars need to be clean. They don't need to be sterilized like with canning, but you do want to make sure and wash them really well, make sure that they're clean, and then most importantly is rinse them very, very well. You don't want any soap residue inside to inhibit any of the lacto-fermentation that we're creating. You'll need lids. Now you don't want to use brand new lids if you can help it, because once you've used these for fermenting, you'll never be able to can with these again. So it's better off to use a lid that maybe you canned with last season and you saved. It doesn't need to have that brand new seal. It just needs to be in good condition. Then as far as the ingredients, we're going to use a great Celtic sea salt. I've got garlic. And then we like a little bit of a spicy pickled okra. So today I'm using Korean pepper flakes. You could also use jalapenos or habaneros out of the garden, or even dried chili or cayenne peppers. All we're going to do is we're going to start by taking our okra and packing it in our jar. And the way that I do it is I start with the biggest pieces in my bunch first, and I put them in wide side down, and I pack them around that way. And then as I work my way up, I use the smaller pieces and I put them point side down. This way you get a really nice tight pack. Okay, so as you can see, I've got my first layer of okra in. Now we're going to go again for the second layer. So now that I've got my okra in here, I'm going to put a clove of garlic. Now, if you happen to break your garlic, crush it or cut into it, your garlic may turn blue while it's brining. It's okay. It's just because there's a little bit of copper in your water, and that's not anything to be scared of or worried about. Then I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of these Korean pepper flakes. I'm going to set this to the side, and we're going to go again. Okay, so packed again. Now, depending on whether you have really long okra or short okra, you will get 2, 3, maybe even 4 layers deep, depending on the size of your okra. That's okay. It's great. Not a problem. All you want to make sure is that your okra is not coming up really past this point right here. So you're just going to leave it right about level with the shoulder. Next, let's make the fermenting brine. This is a standard brine that I use for most of my ferments, and it's 2 heaping tablespoons of Celtic sea salt per quart of filtered water. I like to start with hot water so that the salt dissolves, and then I'll add regular cool filtered water to cool it down. Okay, now we're just going to fill this up. Now we want to go over the shoulder, over all of the okra and the garlic and everything, almost all the way up to the top. Okay, so now we're just going to put the lids on, screw them down, and we're going to give it just a gentle roll so that the cayenne or pepper or whatever you're using can get all the way down to the bottom, and you make sure that the salt solution has gotten all the way down between the okra. Okay, now that's all there is to it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put this to the side and we're going to let it ferment. And the fermenting time is going to determine based on the temperature of your house. Just keep an eye on your okra as it's in the pantry. Make sure that the level hasn't dropped. If it has, make up the brine solution that we talked about earlier in the video. Open the jar, fill it back up with brine, screw it back on, and put it back in your pantry. Most of all, make sure and enjoy your pickles.